Good evening. Tonight we're talking about music. That incredible universal thing that can make you dance in your kitchen, weep uncontrollably in your car, or just nod your head to a beat while pretending, to understand the lyrics. It's a fundamental part of human experience, a sort of global language that transcends borders and connects us all. From a thumping bass line in a Tokyo nightclub to a lone guitarist on a Dublin street corner, music is everywhere. It's the soundtrack to our lives, our triumphs, our heartbreaks, and let's admit it, our incredibly questionable fashion choices in the early 2000s. But what if it wasn't? What if that universal language was suddenly and violently muted? It's a jarring thought, isn't it? For many of us, the idea of a world without music is the stuff of dystopian fiction. It's like imagining a sky without stars, or honestly, a world without Wi-Fi, which, let's face it, might be even scarier. It's an unthinkable void. Yet, for millions of people around the world, this isn't a hypothetical scenario. It's their daily reality. We take for granted our ability to pop in our earbuds and listen to anything from Beyoncé to Beethoven, but that freedom is far from universal. So tonight, let's explore why. Why would any government go to the extraordinary length of banning or restricting music? It's just sounds, right? Harmless vibrations in the air. Well, as we're about to see, those so-called harmless vibrations can be seen as profoundly dangerous by those in power. We're going to look at places where the music has been stopped, or at least turned way, way down, and ask the fundamental question. What is it about a simple melody that can make a regime so terrified? Stick around. This gets loud, metaphorically speaking. Right, let's start with Afghanistan, which is frankly the most extreme and heartbreaking contemporary example of this. When the Taliban seized control of the country in August 2021, they didn't just change the government, they attempted to fundamentally rewire the nation's entire cultural and social fabric. And one of their very first targets was music. Almost immediately, they declared a nationwide ban on playing music in public. Think about that. No wedding bands, no radios blaring from shop fronts, no music at all. It was a swift, brutal silencing of an entire country's artistic expression. Their justification for this is rooted in a specific ultra-conservative interpretation of Islamic law. The Taliban's Ministry for the Promotion of Virtue and Prevention of Vice, which, let's be honest, sounds like the least fun government department imaginable, like a DMV run by your most judgmental aunt, decreed that music is a source of moral corruption and distraction from religious devotion. It's a tool of seduction, they argue, that leads people astray from the righteous path. So the solution isn't regulation or moderation, it's total eradication. It's like dealing with a leaky faucet by dynamiting your entire house. The consequences of this have been devastating. For Afghan musicians, it was an overnight death sentence for their livelihoods and their passion. Many were forced to flee the country, leaving behind their homes and instruments. Those who remained have had to destroy their precious instruments or hide them, living in constant fear. We've seen deeply depressing images of Taliban fighters creating bonfires of confiscated musical equipment, guitars, keyboards, and traditional instruments like the rubab and tabla, all consumed by flames. It's not just burning wood and strings. It's the incineration of culture, of history, of joy itself. Imagine being a master of an instrument, having dedicated your entire life to perfecting your craft, only to be told that your art is now a crime. It's a profound form of cultural violence. The Taliban aren't just banning pop songs, they are erasing centuries of Afghan musical heritage. Traditional folk music, classical ghazals, the very sounds that have defined Afghan identity for generations, are now deemed illegal. It's an attempt to create a cultural vacuum, to impose a singular, sterile and silent vision of society onto a population with a rich and diverse history of sound. And the enforcement is chillingly real. There are reports of checkpoints where cars are searched for USB sticks containing music, of wedding halls raided to ensure no illicit melodies are being played, and of individuals being punished for simply listening to a song on their phone. This isn't a passive ban, it's an active, ongoing campaign of suppression. It transforms one of life's simplest pleasures into an act of defiance, a risky and dangerous form of protest. The simple act of humming a tune becomes a political statement. And that right there shows you the power they believe music holds. Now, let's travel from a place where music is banned to a place where it's inescapable. Welcome to North Korea, the world's most totalitarian state, where the government doesn't just control what you can't listen to. It dictates, with terrifying precision, exactly what you must listen to. If Afghanistan is about forced silence, North Korea is about forced sound. The entire country is subjected to a state-curated playlist on a permanent, inescapable loop. And spoiler alert, it's not exactly a chart topper. It's less now that's what I call music, and more now that's what the supreme leader calls indoctrination. In the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, music is not art. It is propaganda. Full stop. Every single song that is legally permissible is composed and produced by the state with one goal in mind: to glorify the Kim dynasty and reinforce the state's ideology, known as Yuche. The lyrics are a masterclass in sycophantic praise with titles that translate to things like media group, North Korean choir singing informal event, close-up of songbook with pro-Kim lyrics in Korean at stock at distribute_equally, no motherland without you, Kim Jong-un, ode to the great leader. These aren't just songs. They are hymns of political worship, blasted from public speakers in city squares, played in factories, and taught to children in schools from the moment they can speak. The control is absolute. There is no independent music scene. There are no rebellious garage bands. There is no North Korean punk rock movement, which is honestly a genuine tragedy. The state controls every aspect of musical production, from the composition to the performance. The most famous musical act in the country is the Moranbong Band, an all-female ensemble personally hand-picked by Kim Jong-un himself. They perform in military-style outfits, playing synths and electric violins, but the message is always the same: absolute devotion to the regime. It's a bizarre fusion of pop aesthetics and authoritarian messaging, and God help you if you're caught with the wrong kind of music. Possession of foreign media, especially from South Korea or the United States, is a serious crime, punishable by years in a labor camp or even execution. Defectors have told horrific stories of being arrested for having a USB stick with K-pop songs or American movies. The regime sees foreign music not just as a cultural contaminant, but as an existential threat. A catchy pop song from Seoul is considered a weapon of ideological warfare, capable of planting dangerous ideas like media group, South Korean K-pop group on TV with North Korean censorship overlay, USB flash drive labeled K-pop in North Korean hand, at stock at distribute_equally, freedom, individuality, or hey, maybe life doesn't have to be a relentless tribute to one family. So while the approach is different from the Taliban's, the goal is hauntingly similar: control. The North Korean regime understands that music is powerful. It can shape emotions, create community, and introduce new ideas. And that's precisely why they can't allow it to exist freely. By monopolizing the entire soundscape of the nation, they can ensure that the only emotions being shaped are loyalty and devotion. The only community being formed is one centered on the state, and the only ideas being heard are the ones they have written themselves. It's a constant droning musical brainwashing. Okay, so we've seen total silence and total control. Now let's look at something more complex: restriction. Welcome to the Islamic Republic of Iran, a country with a vibrant ancient musical tradition that finds itself in a constant, complicated dance with government censors. Unlike in Afghanistan under the Taliban, music in Iran is not completely banned. You can walk through Tehran and hear music. But what you can hear, who can perform it, and where they can perform it, is subject to a labyrinth of confusing, often contradictory, and deeply repressive rules. The core of the issue dates back to the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The new clerical leadership, much like the Taliban, viewed many forms of music, particularly Western pop and rock, as West-oxification, a corrupting influence that eroded Islamic values. While the outright ban of the early revolutionary years has eased, a powerful state censorship body, the Ministry of Culture and Islamic Guidance, still holds immense power. To release an album, hold a concert, or even get a song on the radio, an artist needs to secure a permit from this ministry, and getting that permit is honestly an ordeal. The ministry scrutinizes everything. Lyrics are checked for any hint of political dissent, anti-religious sentiment, or themes deemed too romantic or pessimistic. The style of music is also judged. Heavy metal and certain forms of rap are almost impossible to get approved. And then there's the issue of female performers. For decades, it has been illegal for a woman to sing solo in public to a mixed-gender audience. This has forced countless talented female vocalists into the shadows, their voices silenced or relegated to chorus-only roles or all-female events. It's an absurd and deeply misogynistic restriction that really hobbles the country's artistic potential. This has created a fascinating and frustrating dual system. On one hand, you have the official state-approved music scene, which is often safe, sanitized, and artistically constrained. On the other hand, you have a massive, thriving underground scene. Iranian artists armed with home studio technology and the internet are constantly creating and distributing their music outside the official channels. Rappers tackle social issues, rock bands shred in secret basements, and female singers release their music on platforms like YouTube and Telegram, reaching millions of fans both inside and outside Iran. But this is an incredibly risky game. These underground artists live with the constant threat of arrest, interrogation, and imprisonment. Every few years, there are high-profile cases of musicians being jailed for their work, their crime being nothing more than creating art that the state did not approve of. This creates a chilling effect, forcing artists to choose between compromising their vision for a permit or risking their freedom to express themselves authentically. It's a system designed to encourage self-censorship, to make artists their own jailers. It's a testament to the power of music that so many Iranians are willing to take that risk. So, there you have it. From the total ban in Afghanistan to the total control in North Korea, to the suffocating restrictions in Iran, the message is clear. These examples show how music, something many of us take for granted as simple entertainment, can be a powerful and subversive force, sometimes seen as a profound threat by those in power. A government that is scared of a song is a government that is fundamentally insecure. It reveals a deep-seated fear that an uncontrolled melody might inspire an uncontrolled thought, and that an uncontrolled thought could lead to a challenge of their authority. They are terrified of music's ability to unite people, to spread ideas, to foster an identity separate from the one the state wants to impose. Whether it's the joy of a pop song, the anger of a protest anthem, or the cultural pride of a traditional folk tune, music gives voice to the human experience in a way that speeches and decrees simply cannot. And that is a power that authoritarians will always try and ultimately fail to completely suppress. Because for every instrument they burn, another is hidden away. For every song they ban, another is shared in secret. So the next time you put on your headphones, scroll through Spotify, or argue with your friends about what to play in the car, just take a moment. Take a moment to appreciate the simple, incredible freedom you have to listen to whatever you want, whenever you want. That freedom is a privilege, and it's a testament to the enduring power of human expression. The sound of freedom isn't just the sound of people speaking, it's also the sound of them singing, playing, and dancing. Don't ever let anyone stop the music. Thank you for watching.